Everybody, Steve Olson and Levi Mills featuring another property very similar to the last one that we featured, this one being in Birmingham, Alabama. And like we told you last time, we build all of our own properties in Alabama, but we do have a contracting group that we work with on our Burr renovations. And this was a property that was brought to us that group it has on the market, and we're introducing it to our investors. There's a lot of appetite for just low-cost, easy base hit investments right now with all the economic volatility in the world, and we think that this is a great option for that. We're looking at the same market that we love for your just B-class renovated homes, which is Center Point, Alabama, just north of Birmingham. This one's located, Levi, at 121 26th Avenue Northwest in Center Point, Alabama. And as we said on the last one, the idea here is pick those homes that have a good retail value that can appraise, right? But also homes that are not so nice that you can't get a good deal on them. And this one and the last one that we featured have excellent rent to value ratios. Rent, what is the rent divided by the value? And man, these are numbers I've not seen in a long time. I've been dealing with new construction for so long, but it's a 1% rent to value ratio, and that is rare. So let's feature this thing, Levi. You want to take us through page 3 of just some of the high-level purchase figures?
Yeah. First, this is a little 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, just under 1,000 square foot home in Center Point, which we really like because of the overall long-term value of that neighborhood. So it's a really a good place for investment. And so if we take a look at this, total cash needed, including your down payment and closing costs, is estimated right at $30,029.9, and that's a pretty low number. Obviously based on the fact that this is a $130,000 purchase price. It's got a resident in it already, so they're paying rent at $1,200 a month, and that's obviously very good. You end up after your expenses at $229 a month on the cash flow piece. Now that is based on the fact that we've got property management that is actually property management is included in that.
Yeah, because it has the forward commitment on the interest rate. It
does have a forward commitment to bring the rate down, which is a great benefit. Get you sub 6%, and that puts you in a good place for the long haul on rates, and hopefully you get the chance to reduce those rates down the line, but you can sure live with it initially when you're pulling up $229 a month off of the property.
Right. So just I'd like to take real quick through, if we look at return on investment, internal rate of return, you're negative the first year because you're buying at market. The property has been renovated in the last 2 to 3 years, and we can provide the scope of work that was done to the property. We can also provide inspector referrals. If you need one, you can bring your own too. We'll work with them. We want you to be able to just get an unbiased, no strings attached view of what kind of condition the property is in. We're of the belief that it's in good condition, but this is a trust but verify kind of a situation. And I always encourage investors on a property like this, a small property that's been around for a little while, make sure you've got $2,500, $3,000 in reserve just to deal with any surprises that could come up, even though it's been recently renovated. Anyone who owns a property that's 30, 40, 50 years old can attest to that. You just got to have some reserves. And then it can operate predictably, which is what you're signing up for. So if you do those things, we're looking at this return on investment, return on or internal rate of return is negative the first year, because if you sold it, you would have selling costs and you would get less money back. But it really jumps in year 2. IRR goes to 8, return on investment goes to 16. We got to do a video on the difference between those two things, but you can see the numbers are well into the double digits after that. So if you're the kind of person that's just trying to flip into a quick deal, this is not a good one for you. But if you want to put some money to work, let the market do its work with a fixed rate of interest, and you're going to hold this thing for 3 to 5 years or more, we think there's a high likelihood you're going to be happy with this investment because it just assumes a very boring 3% increase on income and expenses along the way. If that gets to be more aggressive on the income, keep in mind expenses usually follow income. You can't just have all this income increase magically and not have expenses increase. Things like insurance and property taxes are going to go up. But that expense you can control, and this is where the money is made, is your interest rate. If it's a true 30-year fixed, then that's when those increases really start to help you and really erode at that debt. So good property. Levi, do you have any comments before we hang it up on this one?
Yeah, just again looking at the longer term, medium term analysis shows a gain of $30,000 plus on the sale, aside from or in addition to the income that you've made, in that 5-year time period, jumps up to over $84,000 when you get to that 10-year spot. So it's the kind of investment that it's great to get in, let it percolate there and do some good for you. And then look at the possibility of rotating into something else, possibly, after the 5 or 10-year mark. Or just hang on, pay that mortgage off and let that be a cash cow for you. So, great investment with minimum input to really get you something working for you right away.
I saw a guy on X make a funny statement, hey, one time I'd like to buy a rental property and just hold it for 30 years and have the tenant pay the full mortgage off, like a psychopath would. Because most people aren't going to hold it for the full 30 years, but you certainly could do that if you are a psychopath, right? So, okay. No, I'm not saying you are. It's just a funny joke. So everybody, thank you for joining. We'll catch you on the next video. Have a great day.